I've got a new drum kit and I bought myself a TuneBot Gig drum tuner to tune them with. Let me tell you a bit about the kit first. It's a Natal Arcadia UFX Plus kit. It's got 4 tom-toms, which are 10 by 6.5, 12 by 7, 14 by 12, 16 by 14. The bass drum is 22 by 18. The snare drum is 14 by 5.5. Comes with 2 cymbal stands. This one's a boom stand, hi-hat stand, and a snare drum stand and a bass drum pedal. All of this together, which I bought from Gear for Music, was £549. Everything. Absolutely fabulous deal I had on it. Natal are a British drum design company. They started in the 60s making congas and things like that. They've since branched out into designing drum kits. The kit itself is made in China. Now there's a lot of crap comes out of China, but there's a lot of good stuff as well. A lot of the major drum manufacturers do a lot of drums in China. When I got this, I was very impressed with it from start to finish, from the way the drums looked to the way they made and the way they designed. It's an absolutely fabulous kit. I'm really pleased with it. So I thought, having a new kit, I'd buy myself something to tune it with. This is a TuneBot Gig by Overtone Labs. And it's like what it does, it helps you to work out what the notes of the drums are going to be, how the intervals are going to be in between it. And this video that I'm doing is all about doing a brand new kit using this. For 50 years I've just used these to tune my drums with, but I thought, new drum kit, try something different. So here we got a Natal Arcadia drum kit, which is going to be tuned with a TuneBot. So I've got the TuneBot Gig, I've got the small tom here, small Natal Arcadia tom, and I'm going to use the TuneBot Gig to tune this. Now, what I recommend is to go to the TuneBot website, because there's a tremendous resource on there to tell you what options you got depending on the size of the drums and how you want to tune it. I've gone on there, and I'll show you that in a minute, but I've also downloaded information so I can go through it here. So let's have a quick look at the TuneBot website. The first thing you see is this table number 1, which says recommended fundamental notes and frequency for various tom configurations. It's a big chart, but let's break it down. First of all, along the top shows the number of toms that normal configurations are from 2 to 6. Down the size is the tom sizes, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 16. So for me, I've got 4 toms in this kit, so they've given me, look, 2 choices of tunings, and just for fun I'm going to use the first one, this tuning there. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. We're looking closer at the example I'm going to show you. If you go to the 10-inch one and look across there, it says I should be tuning that to 3D. D is the note, 3 is the octave, and the equivalent in hertz is 147 hertz. So to get the drum sound in D, you have to get the drum to register 147 hertz on the TuneBot. The other thing you have to decide is what sort of resonance you want, how long the note lasts. Once you hit the head, do you want it to go on forever, bang, or do you want it to be bump, cut short? I've chosen for the first example this medium resonance. So again, looking at this tells me that the 10-inch tom, I need to be working on the drum, so the top leg frequency, or the top head, is 206 hertz. And with the bottom leg I need to be going at 294 hertz. So that's what I'm going to try to do now. So we're ready to make a start, and what we're going to do is we're going to tune the top legs so that each of them are to 206, or as near as we can get to 206, and do the bottom so that each of the legs are tuned to 294. And that tells us then on the charts that we saw So that's going to give us a fundamental hertz of 147, which is D3. To do it, what you have to do is first of all put the drum on a cushion, and once you've done it one time, you turn it around and do that. What that does is make sure that the readings you're getting on the tune board are only on the head that you're working on, and there's no overtones coming from the other head on the other side. So we may as well start with the bottom head, and I'm going to put the tune board on, reposition the camera so you can see it close up and see how we're going on with it. Okay, well, I'm holding the camera by hand because it's easier to zoom in and out. And if I do this, you see that there's a clip on the back. And what you do is you position it between the legs, like that. So there's a little microphone under that, and the microphone picks up what it's doing. So you clip it on like that. I'm going to clip it on over this side so you can see it. So let's just start by hitting the drum in the center and see what happens. Well, that tells me that that's D1, or is it, no, is it D1? Yeah, D1. And we are trying to get it to be D3, so we're trying to raise the octave sort of 3 times on that. And the chart here, we go to the chart again, says that on the bottom, there we are, we got to get to, each of the legs need to be 294, alright? So what we do, position that in the middle, is that we go around and tap about 1 inch away from the leg to see what they are. So they're all over the place, but none of them are anywhere near 294. Oh, hang on a minute. I thought we were near on one then. Oh, that was me. Okay, so what we're going to do is to turn each of them up a little bit and see what happens. The point is you're going to fine tune, so you don't need to be too accurate at this first stage. So let's see what happens now. 225 on that one. 224. 225. 223. Well, shows I was quite even actually. Turned them, didn't it? 223. 223. So we still way out because we need to get to 294. So we need to turn them up a little bit more. So you don't actually need to turn them a lot. See what happens now. 274. 274. 273, 73, 74. Alright, well, let's do it a little bit more then. Right, that's too high. Oh, I've over tightened them here, haven't I? Look, it's 300s, so I've got to back off this. Did it too much last time, so let's back off. So it is a bit time consuming. You've got to keep doing this until you get the right one. 300. 300, 300. I must have hit something else then. 298, 227, 303. So we're looking at 294. So we need to come down a little bit, don't we, on them and see what happens. I might have gone a bit too much then. Anyway, try again. 86. 26. I did too much there. 26. Right, so this one here was 283, so that was near. So let's see if we can get that up by tweaking it to 294. Ah, near. It's only a tiny bit you need to turn it. 96, see, it's just a little bit. How did I get that? 400. Ah, I'm probably not hitting in the same place. 93. Tiny bit. $95. 93. Now they say that if you get within 2 hertz, that's going to be good enough. So we'll see if we can get to 94. There we are. So what you do now is, now we got this one of all these is tuned to the right one, and it's recorded it in that thing there. And what you do is that you press this button here, and that gives you this one, which is a difference guide, and it's like a guitar tuner. If you, this arrow in the middle, if it's below that, it'll go that way, and if it's above that, it'll go there. So you tap around and then either turn it up or down to try to get it to match that. Well, there. Alright, so this is what I mean. And you can do them in any order. You don't need to do crisscross pattern or anything, because every leg is going to be trying to do the same anyway. So we might as well just go around them on the next one. Well, you see on this, that says that it's below by minus, below is on this side, by 448, sorry, was it? 0.485, 0.485 hertz. So you have to, like if you had a guitar string, you'd turn it up a bit. So we turn it up a bit, and it's gone over now, look. See, it's gone over to there, which means it's we're trying to get to the center where this is 0. So that's come down a bit. Bit too much that time. You really only need to do it a tiny bit at a time. Give it a good whack. So that one is 2 hertz over, so I'm going to stick with that for the time being, and because they say within sort of 2 hertz there that you're fine with leaving it like that. You've seen, and I've taken time to show you exactly how that will work. It takes a heck of a lot of time of fiddliness going up and down to get that right. So it's going to be bloody boring for me to show you doing the rest of it like this. So I'm not going to bother. But that's what you have to do on each of the legs until you get them within there. And once you've done that, then you turn it over and you do the same on the top head. I say it's very boring for you to watch, so I'm not going to do it, but that's the way that the thing works. You can see what you got to do it. You tap an inch in between as consistent as you can, and then you turn the key up or down to try to get this as close as you can to 0 in the middle there. But they say with it, if you get it to 2 up or down, it's about okay. You don't need to, you know, if you spend an hour doing it, you get fed up, to be honest with you. So that's the process then of doing it, and let's go to the kit now. Okay, I'm back after tuning the toms with the TuneBot gig, and I'm going to show you what the results are. I followed the chart that I printed off that told me what to do, and according to this, these toms are D, B, G and D. Now at the bottom of this, it says call to post, and I thought, what's call to post? I've never heard of call to post. Well, I looked it up, and if you go on YouTube, they've got videos of people using a bugle at the start of the Kentucky Derby. Apparently they use this in the States. I've never come across it before. I've heard the bugle call, but I didn't realise it was called call to the post, and they used it in horse racing. Anyway, they say, perhaps because a lot of this is American, that a lot of drum kits get tuned to that call to the post. And this one is. So, it worked. It's tuned to actual notes. So, job done. Well done, TuneBot. I'm very pleased with it. A bit of discussion, second, about the heads on this kit. I've used the standard heads that it came with. I paid for them, so I thought, well, I may as well use them. They're made by Remo in China, and they're called Remo UT heads. You find a lot of drum kits, new drum kits you buy from China will have Remo UT heads on them. There are different qualities. There's also one I understand called UK heads that are thinner than these. Anyway, the UT heads from my research are the same as the Ambassador heads that you can buy as a replacement. They're the same mylar film, 10mm mylar film apparently. It's just that the way that they put together in China is slightly different in the Chinese factory than the American factory. Normally I use bigger toms and I use double ply heads, but I thought, well, I may as well use these out. I've been really pleased with the liveliness of them. And so I'm going to try it with the band and see what it comes like. I think with the birch it absolutely projects the sound really good, and I think it'll cut through the band very good. So I'm very pleased with these. The one thing that I was a bit uncertain about was the amount of ring getting out of these bigger toms. But I can always use one of these O-rings to cut out if I think it's going on too long. On the other hand, if you're playing with a band and everything else there, I might not notice it so much, so I'm reserving judgment on that. So, this is the Natal Arcadia kit with Remo UT heads tuned using the TuneBot on the toms. Worked very well, very pleased. Now, snare drum. I didn't think this worked at all on the snare drum. In fact, it didn't work for me on the snare drum. It might work for other people. I found that when I was going around the individual legs, I'd tap it once and it would say one thing. I'd tap it a second time and it'd say something completely different. There was too much overring, I think, from everything else on it. I found it very, very difficult to use on this, so I didn't bother in the end. I just tuned the snare drum the way I normally would. What I did do is when I tried to tune it with this, I brought the snare drum to the kit, and when I was playing these toms, the snares themselves and the snare was vibrating too much. I think it's because they're made of exactly the same materials. on it, so you've got a lot of harmonics between the two. So when you're hitting this one hears it, it vibrates. So I wouldn't recommend this at all. What I did is tune my snare drum, and then when I was playing it, I tweaked it to make sure it wasn't ringing when I went through that. The other thing is the kick drum. Because I had problems with the snare, I just didn't even bother with the kick drum. Because I was liking the sound I got from it anyway, and I use a foam pillow inside. This has got a head with a noise reducing ring around the outside anyway, but I felt it was ringing too much, so I've stuck one of these foam pillows inside. Kicker, what do you call it? Yeah, a kicker foam pillow, and that's cut down that, and I like the sound I got on there, so why bother with this? So I'd say this is okay for toms, but I certainly wouldn't recommend it for snare drums, and I don't think it's worth bothering about with that. I haven't even bothered. So this is the TuneBot, this is the Arcadia kit. Very pleased with it for toms, not so pleased with it for the snare drum, and couldn't care less with the kick drum.